Welcome to this week's edition of Weekly Digest, your front row seat to the policies, programs, and people shaping Guyana's development journey. Each week, we go beyond the headlines to follow ministers of government as they implement the administration's agenda, one step, one story, and one community at a time. Guyana's aviation sector is set for a major upgrade with the arrival of two new aircrafts. The aircraft procured by Roraima Airway was designed and manufactured in Italy. Speaking at the launch on Saturday, Minister of Public Works, who also has responsibility for the aviation sector, Bishop Juan Edgel, pointed to ongoing infrastructure development to support aviation growth.
We're building out new airstrips, and we will continue to build out new airstrips so that we could get the length of runway for bigger planes carrying more persons. We'd want to extend congratulations to the Roraima Group, Roraima Air Operators, for taking the lead in many regards in pursuing a development agenda that smoothly synchronizes alongside Guyana's overall development and modernization.
A sum of $14.4 billion has been invested to upgrade a series of access roads along the east coast of Demerara to improve traffic flow. While engaging residents on Tuesday, Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgel underscored the significance of these infrastructural works.
The development agenda is not a second-class, bottom-shelf agenda. It's a priority. Most of us have family in the United States and Canada. You know how those countries develop? They build the roads. And once you build the roads, the people find ways and means of developing businesses, supermarkets, entertainment centers, hotels, private developers, schools, hospitals, but you got to put in the infrastructure.
About 100 learners will benefit from the newly commissioned non-parole nursery school along the East Coast corridor. Prior to the school's construction, pupils had to travel to Melanie, Damishana, or Enterprise to receive their nursery education. Minister of Education Primanik Chand commissioned the facility recently.
But although we don't have compulsory nursery education, more than 90% of that age cohort in the country, nursery age children, are registered and attending a nursery school. And that is the highest for the Commonwealth Caribbean here in Guyana.
37 more community service officers have completed training in tractor operation and maintenance. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai pointed out that the newly trained CSOs will now serve their community more impactfully.
It is also very useful when you participate in our training, that when you go back to your village and you are attached as a CSO, that you can provide service to your community.
A national suicide surveillance system has been launched by the Ministry of Health. Its aim? To tackle suicide and mental health cases across the country. Through the system, data will be recorded when a confirmed mental health case or attempted suicide is reported. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said that this system was necessary to continue the efforts being made to curb the suicide rate.
We recognize that we had challenges with suicide. For many years, Guyana had high suicide numbers. And we wanted to also have a very special focus on reducing the cases of suicide.
The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security commissioned its first Brave Center for Men at the West Central Mall, Lenora, West Coast, Demerara on Tuesday. The center aims to empower and heal men as the ministry embarks on a plan to create safe spaces for men. Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vindya Prasad said this is part of tackling the issue from the roots.
This is not something where we are only addressing men or women. We are addressing each person, all ages, every community, our entire country.
That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. We'll see you next week with more stories from the heart of government. Welcome to the President's Diary, your weekly look at leadership that's bold and hands-on. This week began in Bartica, Region 7, where President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali unveiled plans to transform the Cayuni-Mazaruni region into a diversified economic hub over the next 5 years. At a packed community meeting, the president emphasized that the shift will go beyond traditional mining with targeted investments to expand agriculture, tourism, and financial services, unlocking new opportunities for the region.
The next 5 years is about investing in Region 7 to diversify your economy so that your entertainment sector, your tourism sector is not only dependent on mining, but that your economy will be balanced and diversified into the future. To do this, We have to transform your regatta into a world-class regatta. And we're going to give the incentives, we're going to give the tax breaks, we're going to make that regatta a world-class regatta here for you.
Moving from Region 7 to Region 6, President Ali and his cabinet held a campaign rally at Albion Estate Road, East Berbice Quarantine. Before a crowd of over 35,000 supporters, one of the largest ever, the president announced two transformative projects: a state-of-the-art recreational facility for Albion and a US $200 million fund to improve access to capital for small and medium-sized businesses.
It is how we invest that revenue to create wealth, to build prosperity, and to uplift the lives of people that matters. And it is only one party that has demonstrated to you that we have clear ideas, clear plans, and good policies for the people of our country.
In Georgetown, the spotlight turned to education. The newly rebuilt Brickdam Secondary School was officially commissioned. And who better to commission the top-class educational facility other than President Irfan Ali, who has been ensuring no investment is spared to give children access to education.
The future of education in Guyana is not only bright, it is brilliant. But this transformation is not just about buildings. It's about investment in people and in quality. Since 2020, we've injected almost 600 billion Guyana dollars into our education sector. Yes, $600 billion. This is an investment in the brains, hearts, and hands of our children.
The three-story school costs $560.7 million. It comes equipped with more than 20 classrooms, including ICT, science and technology, and home economics labs, plus an industrial arts facility. It joins St. George's School of Sciences and Christchurch Secondary as the third secondary school recently commissioned in the capital city.
The wealth of our country is in agriculture and food production. And our farmers can be assured that the revenue from oil and gas would be used to transform the agriculture sector, to make it profitable, to make it sustainable, and to ensure that our farmers live a life of high value and dignity and pride.
Turning to Region 2, President Ali launched a historic crop insurance initiative for rice farmers.
We owe it to those who feed our nation to ensure that they have a cushion should misfortune visit them. For the farmers in Hampton Court, Devonshire Castle, Walton Hall, and other areas in Region 2 that flood frequently, who lost harvest to floods. This program is not just relief, it is a lifeline for you.
Tuesday also saw a solemn tribute to Yaqub Mazaharali, businessman, aviator, and founder of Air Services Limited. President Ali paid respects to a man who helped build Guyana's aviation industry from the ground up. Later that evening, at the Shipping Association of Guyana's Mixer, President Ali unveiled plans for a regional trade and transport platform in collaboration with Barbados.
We want to lead with Barbados to set up an example for the rest of the region, in which we have pre-clearance between Barbados and Guyana, in which we have a common transport platform integrating the market of Barbados and Guyana.
Guyana continues to lead the world in environmental stewardship. Speaking at a major biodiversity summit, President Ali reaffirmed the country's commitment to nature. Addressing global conservationists, scientists, and policymakers, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali stressed that the time is now to protect biodiversity, since 50% of biodiversity globally has already been lost.
Today, we are not simply launching an initiative. We are igniting a global movement to protect the living fabric of our planet. And I am proud that this movement begins here in Guyana with the support and partnership of all of you in this room.
He described the alliance as a platform for cooperation, action, and investment in the world's shared ecological future. Closing off day 2 of the summit on Thursday afternoon, President Ali welcomed the upcoming launch of a new fund, Tropical Forest Forever (TFF), at COP30 that seeks to help countries preserve their forests through long-term support.
Carbon markets and the TFFF are complementary parts of a menu of options for forest financing. To this end, we support the expansion of high-integrity markets for jurisdictional approaches, and we also encourage potential investor countries to announce ambitious contribution to the TFFF.
By Friday, the president was in industry announcing the rollout of an electronic payment system for pensioners, a move to modernize public services and empower the elderly with better financial access.
We are already working on the digital payment platform. It's completed, and the One Guyana card, the digital card, will come into effect. So our pensioners don't have to go to the post office. They don't have to go to a temple, a church, or a mosque. They will stay in their homes with their digital card, and they will enjoy seeing the money in their account with their cards.
The president ended his week on Saturday evening by addressing thousands of residents at a rally at Anna Regina on the Essequibo coast. We leave you this week with these images from the rally. From advancing global trade, investing in education, supporting our elderly, or working to protect our planet, this week showcased the president deeply engaged in building a stronger, more resilient Guyana. Do join us again next time on the President's Diary as we continue to follow the footsteps of leadership.
Another major milestone is mere hours away from being achieved. Like Christchurch Secondary and St. George's School of Sciences, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali will commission the new and improved Brick Dam Secondary School today. The school became unusable in 2016. President Ali decided that it is imperative to rebuild the school, and by September, the school will open its door to welcome its first batch of students. So stay tuned to DPI as we provide you with the coverage of the commissioning of the $560.7 million secondary school.
In the next 5 years, in every single one of the community on the Linden Suicide Highway, we will be building housing schemes with proper infrastructure so that you can have not only a home, but you can have a home in which you can realize the value for that home. We are going to go a step further in the coming years and months, because we don't only want you to get access to those plots of land, we're going to help you to ensure you build your homes and own your homes. Because one of the big programs that we want to launch on the Linden Suicide Highway is a home improvement project and a home ownership project, where we'll bring the banks, We'll co-finance with the banks. We'll add infrastructure, value to your land, and we will give subsidies to you so that we will make loans easier to get. We'll bring down the interest rate, reduce the collateral requirement, and give you the opportunity to build and own your own home right here on the Seaside Highway. Today we have a country that is moving towards one of the best healthcare systems existing in the world.
President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali has announced the construction of an international hospital at Silica City on the Suzaik-Linden Highway. This announcement was made on Thursday when he held a public meeting at Kurukuru.
Silica City, that is already recognized as a world-class model, will create thousands of jobs for people living on the Linden-Suzaik Highway. Already, we have investors for Silica City who will be building an international hospital that will bring in services and provide services for tourism, health tourism, medical tourism that will be built right here on the Linden-Suzaik Highway.
Silica City will be Guyana's first smart and sustainable city project. It will have top-notch development like smart homes, outfitted with the latest energy-saving technologies for wastewater management, energy management, and water conservation. This state-of-the-art international hospital in that city follows the robust agenda of infrastructural development and healthcare reform. The government is on a mission to revolutionize the healthcare system with the construction of 12 new regional hospitals around the country by 2028. 6 are built to complete in 2025. To date, the Diamond and the Enmore regional hospitals have been commissioned and are serving tens of thousands of people on the East Coast and East Bank of Demerara. They offer services like 24-hour accident and emergency care, labs, imaging services, and sport operating theaters.
The government has implemented a plethora of housing initiatives to allow all Guyanese to own homes. Among these initiatives are the Steel and Cement Subsidy Program, introduced in 2022. It provides the builders 1 sling of cement and the necessary steel to construct the foundation of a house costing $6 million or less. Those constructing homes valued between $6 million and $25 million are provided with 2 slings of cement. The Central Housing and Planning Authority issues these steel and cement vouchers, which are redeemable at hardware stores. To date, thousands of persons have benefited from this subsidy.
For the entire country, over $500 million for over 2,000 vouchers.
Several beneficiaries have lauded this much-needed subsidy, which has enabled them to start constructing their dream homes.
I feel very happy. I think it's a great initiative by the government, and it will assist us in building our homes. They will be excited and happy. They will be more comfortable by having our own home living our own home.
I feel happy and proud because I'm getting my own home now.
I feel good, really, like a long time. Wait for collect, so I feel real good that we get it today. We can start doing it.
Guyana's maritime sector is poised for a significant boost with the imminent arrival of 4 new multi-million-dollar vessels. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgel made the announcement at the ministry's Transport and Harbors Department Goods Wharf on Tuesday. He noted that 2 of the vessels are pilot boats built by Osea in France. They are completed and getting ready to sail to Port Georgetown. The 2 additional ferries, purchased from Greece, will soon after join the Transport and Harbors Department's fleet.
Visionary leadership by President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali and his cabinet. These things are not accidental. All of these investments are intentional and purpose-driven because we are building not just oil and gas, but agriculture is being expanded.
These ferries set to join the country's maritime fleet will increase passenger and cargo capacity. Each vessel boasts the capacity to transport over 50 caravans or 19 trucks per voyage.
A brand new nursery school has been officially commissioned at Dag Point in Region 7. The Little Achievers Nursery School will provide a safe and friendly learning environment for the children of the community. The space boasts amenities such as indoor and outdoor play area and colorful teaching aids to create an atmosphere conducive for learning. Minister of Education, Priya Manichan, facilitated the commissioning of the school.
It's important for us that every single child across the country could access nursery, primary, and secondary education. Although nursery is not compulsory, we have more than 90% of our nursery-age cohort children registered in nursery schools, and that's the highest in the Commonwealth of Caribbean for this age group.
Ministry of Education officials, parents, and teachers also attended the simple commissioning ceremony. Residents of Madhya will benefit from upgraded infrastructural works across their community. 45 contractors signed 110 contracts on Wednesday for a total value of more than $1.5 billion. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgil visited the community for the contract signing and to engage with residents.
In this effort this morning, you're going to be signing your contracts, and then you'll be immediately engaged to start your work. It's a comprehensive program. Bridges, the small bridges, 25. Fixed rate, concrete roads, 5 kilometers worth. I think it's going to be about 80 lots,
The minister took time to inspect several sites where roadworks are currently ongoing. He also noted that emergency roadworks will begin in Tiger Hill and Campbelltown, communities where roads deteriorated due to the extreme weather conditions. These efforts form part of the government's mandate to upgrade infrastructure across the hinterland. The Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai, was also part of the visiting team.
The Ministry of Public Works Maritime Administration Department, MARAD, received a timely boost to its fleet. A $790 million motor tug Arau was commissioned at the Kingston Goods Wharf on Tuesday. The motor tug Arau, the second vessel added to the maritime sector since 2020, forms part of the government's commitment to the expansion of MARAD's capacity. The tug is capable of towing and maneuvering ships between 10,000 and 20,000 tons. Built by the Dutch company Damen and Farm Supplies Limited, the Arau is the newest addition to MARAD's fleet. The motor tug Arau was discharged from the ship Vertom Joy and given to MARAD on June 2, 2025. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgil reflected on the state of the maritime sector in 2020, highlighting the substantial investments the government has made to modernize the country's local maritime operations.
Had we not made those initial investments, the maritime sector would have been playing catch-up, or we would have been left as inoperable and maybe considered by some of the operators useless in terms of regulating and controlling what needs to be done within this sector.
Minister Ejel further disclosed that Guyana will also gain 3 more new vessels by the end of this year to transport cargo from the Demerara, Berbice, and Pomeroon Supernam rivers.
These things are not accidental. All of these investments are intentional and purpose-driven because we are building not just oil and gas, but agriculture is being expanded. Tourism is being expanded. The build-out of government services in the hinterland communities are being expanded. The development of Guyana is not just something that is happening by chance. It is carefully planned, executed by capable, visionary leadership.
The 16 meters long and 6 meters wide tug is the second vessel that MARAD has acquired in the past 2 years. The pilot ship, Arapaima, valued at $535 million, was commissioned in 2023. The tug's acquisition reflects President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali's overarching goal for Guyana's economic expansion.
"31 males and 9 females from the Region 3 community of Wakanam have completed their training in various disciplines from the Board of Industrial Training. Among the graduates, 18 individuals specialized in electrical engineering, 13 in welding and fabrication, and 9 were trained as auto mechanics. Presenting the feature address at the graduation ceremony, the CEO of the Board of Industrial Training, Richard Mon.
You are not just skilled or equipped to work locally, but you can also work internationally. You can take your skill wherever you go. These are not just trades, they are pillars of national development. While most of the persons are being taken up in the oil and gas sector, we still have need for more persons to work in the domestic sector, to work at home, to make sure that as we build houses, that those houses have safe connection to electricity.
With an increase in the demand for skilled persons, these graduates are more than likely to be in high demand. To date, the government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Labor and the Board of Industrial Training, has invested $24.1 million in Region 3's skill development, with more than 240 beneficiaries. In the past 5 years, over 13,000 persons have been trained across the country, with women accounting for 60%.
Residents, farmers, boat operators, and other stakeholders were provided with a comprehensive overview of the scope of works for the construction of the International Port Facility, Phase 1 at Parika in Region 3. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Agel and Minister within the Ministry Deodat Indar presided over the stakeholder engagement on Tuesday at Parika Market Tarmac. Phase 1 will last 24 months and will be executed in 3 lots by Geico Construction, Tulsi Prasad Limited, and ANS General Contractors. With a $4.5 billion investment, the port will feature modern cold storage, packaging, and agro-processing facilities to extend the shelf life of produce and open new markets for Guyanese goods across the Caribbean and beyond. Minister Ejel noted that the government will ensure that economic activities in the region are not interrupted while the port facility is under construction.
Even while this port is under construction, the Service of Transport and Harbors Department to Legwan, Wakanam, Supernam, Bartica will be uninterrupted. The steamers will continue to go every single day.
Minister Indar highlighted the importance of the facility, noting that it will transform Parika from a stellene into a full functional international port of entry.
This particular port is no longer going to be a stelling, it's going to be a port of entry. And there's a total difference from what a stelling is. A stelling is travel within. Here you're dealing with travel outside of our country and receiving cargo from outside of the country, and people too. So that's the first major thing why this port is needed. This port will solve many needs of the Guyanese people. And it will put us in a place where for those who dreamt about a regional ferry system.
During the meeting, residents raised concerns about potential relocation of homes, vendors, and the fisheries wharf. The ministers pledged that all concerns would be addressed to protect livelihoods while ensuring the port's successful completion.
A brand new community is about to take shape on the Essequibo coast. 250 families received their house lots in the new Hove Van Arik housing development. This marks a major step towards making their dreams of home ownership a reality.
Our commitment is to ensure that we work continuously so that all of our citizens who are eligible can have access to their own land or home. That's our commitment.
And by delivering on that commitment, the government has put 250 families one step closer to a life of dignity and independence.
My name is Erika Passat. I'm from Riverstone. Since 2023 I applied and I'm excited.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia Henry. I'm from Charity New Housing Scheme. I was waiting a very long time for this opportunity, and I'm so thankful that I can own my own house land. And I must say thanks to the minister and the government for, give me my own house land. I'm so thankful.
My name is Felicia Ferdinand. I'm originally from Georgetown, but I've been residing in Essequibo for the last 13 years. And I applied for land from the government in 2008. I've been running back and forth, but finally, I came in March to update my application, and they told me this next time you hear that they're coming, you must come. And I came today and I got through, and I'm very much ecstatic because I'm a single mother of 6 and I'm paying rent, and it's very hard on me because I got kids to send to school, I got lesson fees and so on to pay. So paying rent and I have bills to pay is very hard. So I'm glad that I got through today because at least I can't even explain. It's like a burden on my shoulders, I've been praying. I know I want to say thanks to my mom because she always said, she said, "Man, don't give up. God has come through when you least expect it." And he did today, and I want to say thanks to the government. And thanks to me for keeping up the faith because somebody feel like give up, But thank you very much to the minister and to the government of Guyana. And I'm encouraging young people to, apply. It's a lifelong investment. And, you can leave something for your kids.
The Ministry of Labor's Board of Industrial Training, in collaboration with the Art Williams and Harry Wendt Aeronautical Engineering School, recently launched its Aircraft Maintenance Foundation program at the Essequibo Technical Institute on the Guyana Essequibo coast. 20 residents of Region 2, 14 males and 6 females, were the first to benefit from the initiative. Speaking to the Department of Public Information, the beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the program.
When I first saw the program, it was very intriguing because ever since I was small, I was always interested in aviation. I always wanted to pursue my dreams and pursue a career in aviation. I want to become a pilot. So when I saw this, it was like, okay, this is your opportunity.
I've always been fascinated about planes. I've
Honestly, I wanted to become a pilot, but there's like, it's expensive. You have to go, I don't know, out the country. You have to get support, and a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So, thanks to the government, I want to thank them for giving me and all the trainees here the opportunity to start this process, this path.
This is truly one of the most amazing things that the government ever did so far, to bring a course like this into Essequibo Coast and bringing it to people like us, because it's very hard for most Essequibians to go into Georgetown and pursue their studies. And a lot of us have dreams like to go and get these things done, but financially and then the distance and places to stay is very hard. And now that they've brought it here, and it's cheaper because the courses are very expensive naturally. So bringing it under the government process and just making it better for everybody in Essequibo Coast.
The 9-month program will equip learners with essential skills in aircraft maintenance, ground operations, safety protocols, and technical communication. Critical skills for them to have before taking up careers in Guyana's growing air transport industry.
Welcome to this week's edition of Weekly Digest, your front row seat to the policies, programs, and people shaping Guyana's development journey. Each week, we go beyond the headlines to follow ministers of government as they implement the administration's agenda, one step, one story, and one community at a time. One such community is Dag Point in Region 7, which just got a brand new nursery school. The Little Achievers Nursery School will provide a safe and friendly learning environment for the children of that community. The space boasts indoor and outdoor play areas and colorful teaching aids to create an atmosphere conducive for learning. Minister of Education Priya Manik Chand facilitated the commissioning of the school.
It's important for us that every single child across the country could access nursery, primary, and secondary education. Although nursery is not compulsory, we have more than 90% of our nursery age cohort children registered in nursery schools, and that's the highest in the Commonwealth Caribbean for this age group.
Some 250 families received house lots in the new Hov Van Orich housing development on the Essequibo coast. The Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, reaffirmed the ministry's commitments to meet the growing demand for housing in Region 2.
Our commitment is to ensure that we work continuously so that all of our citizens who are eligible can have access to their own land or home. That's our commitment.
And by delivering on that commitment, the government has put those 250 families one step closer to a life of dignity and independence. The government is not only providing land to build homes, but are also helping in the construction process. The Steel and Cement Subsidy Program introduced in 2022 provides builders one sling of cement and the necessary steel to construct the foundation of a house costing $6 million or less. Those constructing homes valued between $6 million and $25 million are provided with 2 slings of cement. The Central Housing and Planning Authority issued these steel and cement vouchers, which are redeemable at hardware stores. To date, thousands of people have benefited from the subsidy.
And for the entire country, over $500 million for over 2,000 vouchers.
Sailing over to the maritime sector, the Ministry of Public Works Maritime Administration Department, MARAD, received a timely boost to its fleet. A $790 million motor tug Arau was commissioned at the Kingston Good Wharf on Tuesday. The motor tug Arau, the second vessel added to the maritime sector since 2020, forms part of the government's commitment to expand MARAD's capacity. The tug is capable of towing and maneuvering ships between 10,000 and 20,000 tons. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgel reflected on the state of the maritime sector in 2020, highlighting the substantial investments the government has made to modernize the country's local maritime operations.
Had we not made those initial investments, the maritime sector would have been playing catch up, or we would have been left as inoperable and maybe considered by some of the operators useless in terms of regulating and controlling what needs to be done within this sector.
The 16 meters long and 6 meters wide tug is the second vessel that Marit has acquired in the past 2 years. The pilot ship Arapaima, valued at $535 million, was commissioned in 2023. Big projects are happening all over Guyana, and Region 3 is no exception. The residents, farmers, boat operators, and other stakeholders are a key component in transforming the Perica Stelling into a $4.5 billion international port facility. As a result, they were provided a comprehensive overview of the scope of work for Phase 1 of the construction. Minister Edgell noted that the government will ensure that economic activities in the region are not interrupted while the port facility is under construction.
Even while this port is under construction, the Service of Transport and Harbors Department to Legwan, Wakenham, Supernam, Bartica will be uninterrupted. The steamers will continue to go every single day.
No region is left out of development. In Madhya, Region 8, residents will benefit from upgraded infrastructural works across their community. 45 contractors signed 110 contracts on Wednesday for a total value of more than $1.5 billion. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgell visited the community for the contract signing and to engage with the residents.
In this effort this morning, you're going to be signing your contracts, and then you'll be immediately engaged to start your work. It's a comprehensive program. Bridges, the small bridges, 25. Fixed rate, concrete roads, 5 kilometers worth. I think it's going to be about 80 lots. All of the villages will be engaged in this program as well to do their road maintenance. That is their internal road maintenance and their connection.
And that's how the week unfolded. One step at a time, one community at a time, but many stories are being written. That's it for this edition. We'll see you again next week with more stories from the heart of government. Welcome to the President's Diary, your weekly look at leadership that's bold and hands-on. This week began in Kiti, Georgetown, where President Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali and the People's Progressive Party Civic launched their official campaign for the upcoming general and regional elections.
We are also talking about the future, a vision of a Guyana beyond our borders, a Guyana that will take the center stage of global leadership, a Guyana that your children will be proud of, a Guyana that will see every Guyanese wanting to return back home, because home will be strong, stable, and secure.
On Monday, the president and members of his cabinet submitted their list of candidates to the Guyana Elections Commission at the Guyana.
We have submitted the winning list. But we want all of you to know that every single one of you, that all of you are enlisted on that list.
President Ali continued his busy week with a series of high-level engagements, particularly in the areas of field hockey, archery, and karate. On Tuesday, the president met with national hockey players at State House, where he committed to building an international standard facility at the new St. Stanislaus College ground to be developed at Durban Park. Later that day, he met with members of the International Karate Organization Academy Guyana. The president pledged financial support for new training mats and infrastructure upgrades at Hope Secondary School, home to dozens of young karate practitioners. President Ali also engaged with Archery Guyana Inc. to advance the future of archery in the country. He outlined plans to identify a site dedicated for an archery facility and to integrate the sport into schools. In a moment of solemn reflection, the president joined the Kissoon family for a night of remembrance honoring the late Lila Kissoon, whom he described as a pioneering businesswoman whose contribution to Guyana's development will forever inspire us.
Today we have a country that is moving towards one of the best healthcare systems existing in the world.
On Thursday, President Ali addressed residents at a community meeting in Kulukururu, where he made several major development announcements, including the construction of an international hospital at Silica City on the Soesdijk-Linden Highway.
Silica City that is already recognized as a world-class model will create thousands of jobs for people living on the Linden-Soesdijk Highway. Already, we have investors for Silica City who will be building an international hospital that will bring in services and provide services for tourism, health tourism, medical tourism that will be built right here on the Linden-Soesdijk Highway.
He also revealed plans for new housing schemes with modern infrastructure across every community along the highway.
In the next 5 years, in every single one of the community on the Linden-Soesdijk Highway, we will be building housing schemes with proper infrastructure so that you can have not only a home, but you can have a home in which you can realize the value for that home.
On Friday evening, President Ali traveled to Madhya, where he outlined transformative plans for Region 8, focused on job creation, agriculture, and food security.
Tonight is about that mission of building a modern, prosperous Region 8 in which our economy will be diversified, in which jobs will come here, in which you will have the best health care, the best education, the best roads, the best transportation, and in which your region will be critically interlinked with the rest of Guyana.
From the hinterland to the cricket pitch, the head of state capped off Friday night by celebrating national pride. President Ali was in attendance at the National Stadium in Providence to witness the Guyana Amazon Warriors clinch the Global Super League title. He also had the honor of presenting the championship medals after their 32-run victory over the Rangpur Riders. And on Saturday, while addressing a large gathering in Maruka Region 1, President Ali announced the creation of 1,000 new jobs and salary increases for community service officers. He also reiterated the government's focus on education and professional development, particularly in healthcare, where 60% of frontline workers hail from hinterland communities. As we conclude this week's episode of the President's Diary, we'll leave you with these images. From development in the hinterland to celebrating a big win at the National Stadium, President Ali's week reflected the energy and ambition of a nation on the rise. Do join us again next time on the President's Diary.
For the first time in this country, he would see the connectivity from communities in the East Bank to communities on the east coast of the Demerara. And when he drives on the current Demerara Harbor Bridge, he would have a good look at a new, modern, better bridge almost at completion. He would see massive housing development and the interconnectivity of communities all across this country. But most importantly, my friends, he would see investment in education, investment in our welfare, and investment in our future. And if he comes here today, he would see children of Region 3, Finale and Tandai McAllister united under the banner of the PPPC. And he would see all of you, all of us, moving forward together for one Guyana, a better future.
Region 7 saw tremendous improvements in this year's National Grade 6 assessment. In the 2025 exams, students recorded better grades in every subject.
There was a 16% increased pass rate in math and 14% increased passes in science.
Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, Gail Teixeira, attended the region's prize-giving ceremony on Tuesday. She said that these results are the fruits of targeted investments made by the Ministry of Education.
As we work, and this is where the government, President Ali, has made education the foundation stone of the transformation of our country.
Minister Teixeira explained that these improvements, however, did not happen by chance or magic. She noted that these changes can only occur from intentional policy changes and investments.
Educational changes don't come fast. They're slow, like a slow river that moves steadily through, that you see change and change always.
This year, students who sat the NGSA obtained a 63% pass rate, up from 49% last year.
The South Pakurama mountain range is home to some of the most remote indigenous communities in Guyana. The developments that have been taking place in this area over the last few years can only be described as life-altering for people who live here. That's all because of government programs and initiatives, all of which are aimed at making sure that no community is left behind.
My village got its name from a small eatable yellow fruit that's called yorong, and the paru means when the creek, a small creek. That's how it got its name, yorong paru.
Yarong Paru is the most remote village in the South Pakuramas, and this is where we begin our journey. If you were to visit this village 4 years ago, it would have been a much different experience, and the scenery would not have been like this.
I have seen developments, which is concrete roads, and then I have seen my school renovated and tiles being there. Since in old days, I have not seen our school floor was dusty, but now it's been tiled. And our health facilities, it's been complete, renovated, and I have seen quarters here, doctor's quarter, and then I've seen teacher's quarter. I've seen ICT hub.
The impact of the government's investments in the South Pacaramas are not only seen in the physical infrastructure, but they've had a significant impact on the lives of the people as well.
I've seen my child, I have a child, I've seen her benefiting from the Because We Care cash grant, and I've seen other children benefiting from that. I've seen they're being fully attired, having their footwear, which we haven't seen in the past. I wasn't dressed like that. I used to come to school with slippers, but now I've seen they wearing their proper footwear, and we're glad for that.
The communities are all benefiting from having trained teachers and trained health workers. Even more young residents of this community are currently being trained in various professional fields. The village of Rukumuta, another remote and beautiful village, has also seen major transformation. At the heart of it, a major road network and other critical infrastructure. Hard to believe that this village not so long ago had no roads.
We have been seeing a lot of development within our village here, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of our culture, through HISAD, then we through water supply, and then we have road development within our community, in which all of us here benefited from. Recently, we had drilled water now, which is not potable water for us, which is everyday use in our lives. So far, we have been this 90% developed from the years before.
Tiger Pond is the gateway to Paipang, Kokshibai, and Taushida. This village has benefited from several projects, and now its logging and agriculture sectors are thriving.
Since I came back into my village, it is not like the way how it used to be before. Developments you could see. A lot of things have been happened. We have our ICT hub now in here, thanks to the government. We have the computers now, access to internet for our children, for our people here. And we also have our roads now safely. We have our road signs up. We have our street lights now. And then now we have our school now access to internet. And now our village office is even access to internet right now. So to communicate with our superiors is very, very easy. You don't have to be writing letters no more, penning it and enveloping it. Gone are those days.
Tushaw Edwards said that the funds acquired from the Low Carbon Development Strategy, or LCDS, has helped in the village's reforestation efforts. He noted that the village had experienced a decline of red cedar trees as a result of multiple factors. The village council decided to use a portion of funds from the LCDS to repopulate its red cedar trees, and today they have over 2,000 red cedar plants growing in the area. A remarkable turnaround.
We never had these lights, for example. Our village shops were small. And now with the help from the government grants and so on, the presidential grants and so on, we have extensions to our small projects. We have our pepper projects. We have our cattle being extension to the cattle. And we have sheep rearing going on, the black giants now. And there's so much to talk about.
Our last stop is the beautiful village of Taushida, where residents told us that they're experiencing significant improvements in the community. These include a fully functional village shop, new schools, health facility, and a brand new ICT center. All of these improvements, they say, have made life easier.
My community has developed a lot. I didn't see my village like this before. When I was small, when I was younger, it didn't have any equipped buildings. Now we are having it, and we are thankful to government.
From Yarong Paru to Taushida, these South Pakurama communities with support from the government are building roads where they didn't exist, schools, health, and even ICT centers. The people here believe there are now good reasons to remain rooted to their lands, while enjoying opportunities that residents on the coast have long enjoyed. It is even more proof that the government believes that no community is too small and no village too remote to be seen, heard, and supported.
The government remains optimistic that a long-standing ban on the exportation of catfish to the United States will be lifted shortly. This assurance was provided by Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa at the ministry's main office in Georgetown on Wednesday. Since August 2020, the government has been working diligently with the United States Department of Agriculture on reversing the ban on catfish.
The ambassador and I have been speaking regularly on this matter. I hope very shortly we can have the ban lifted so that Guyana could once again export our product, especially catfish, to the United States.
The U.S. imposed a ban on wild-caught catfish import in September 2017 due to Guyana's inspection system of this fish is not the same as the U.S. Prior to the ban, Guyana's catfish exports to the U.S. were valued at about $1.8 billion. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Terrio underscored that Guyana has been extremely receptive by taking all the necessary steps for this matter to be resolved.
Guyana has taken every step we've asked of them. It's a long process. They will submit the responses to questions we have. We'll ask more questions. They'll submit more responses. But I can tell you that it's going very, very well. Guyana has been incredibly responsive. I am very, very hopeful, as is the minister, that we'll have this resolved soon and that it will be a positive response. And I am certainly pushing on my end to make that happen.
Tugville Secondary School is being expanded to cater for 180 more pupils. 6 new classrooms are being created that will each accommodate 30 pupils. Minister of Education Priya Manichand recently visited the construction site to check the progress made.
Our aim is to make sure every child has a solid secondary education wherever they live, and this is one of the efforts. It's not only building new schools, but extending the schools that we currently have.
The $74.9 million contract was awarded to Kaivari Procurement Logistics and Investments, Inc. In Georgetown alone, Campbellville Secondary, St. Rosa's High, St. Stanislaus College, and Queen's College are undergoing extension works to accommodate more pupils. Houston Secondary is also being rebuilt. Only last week, the government commissioned Christchurch Secondary, St. Winifred's Secondary, and St. George's School of Sciences. In the coming weeks, Brickdam Secondary will be commissioned, which will see over 600 students being accommodated in spacious classrooms. In recent years, new wings were commissioned at East Rheinfeld Secondary, St. Winifred's Secondary, Bishop's High, Queen's College, and St. Stanislaus to cater to the growing population.
Three weeks after conducting community outreaches in 12 indigenous communities in the South Pacaramas, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat returned to deliver on the commitments he made. On Friday, Minister Bharat delivered buses, boats, ATVs, bicycles, tablets and other items that were requested by residents of 12 villages in Region 9.
A big thank you to the government. The last time the Honorable Minister Vikram was in the village, and he promised us the bus and the other things, as you can see in the background there, and it didn't take him long at all. We have it right now, and I already came with my driver, and we are very, very grateful. Not only this, we have the outboard engine also, we have the boat, and we have the tablets for the students. And I was to mention, and we asked him for a play park in the village, and it is under construction as we speak in the village, and everyone is happy.
I'm so happy about this, the ATV that I'm receiving now, and that would be helping us in the community through the health, because there's no transportation of the health workers. For the health workers, this time I use the village cruiser, but right now it is long, and I'm very happy to receive this ATV this afternoon.
I thanks for Minister for giving the ATV. I very proud for ATV for first time. Guyana to ATV to my village to help my villagers, not villagers only, to help the sick people and the health worker too. I thanks for government also to give the 3 million for me too, for my village.
With the response we've been getting from Minister and his team's government, I think we are in a comfortable position to have the development that we are looking forward to.
We are thankful for the promise, not only the promise that you made, but fulfilling the promise that you made, and looking forward for continued support.
Minister Bharat, in his remarks to the leaders, noted that the government is committed to bridging the gap that exists between the coast and the hinterland of Guyana. He noted the opportunities that are now available for Amerindians to become trained in various fields.
A priority of ours, as always and will be, education and healthcare. Education and healthcare is critical. We can't have our children walking miles to go to school. If we got to get a bus to them, we will provide a bus for them. Our health workers, we can't have them walking from one village to another. We will provide the ATV for them.
Dreams, years in the making, are finally taking shape. Residents in Region 10 are taking the next step into achieving home ownership through the Ministry of Housing and Water's Dream Realized Housing Drive. On Friday last, 1,000 of them received house lots. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell congratulated the beneficiaries and committed to having the process of house lot distribution continue.
Very important that we understand and remember how we have started, how much of the process we have moved, and how we are committing to ensure that this mandate that which every PPPC government has ensured that ownership and access to housing is a priority, and therefore I can say here, it will continue.
And the allottees spared no words of gratitude as they agreed that the timing could not have been better.
I am appalled and delighted, so especially with the fact that I have a child, we're going to be a family soon. I think that it happened at the right time.
I'm happy about it because I was praying to God all the way to let me have my own land, and my prayer come true by the grace of God. So I give the praise to God and also the minister that helped me to get it.
In addition to the allocation of the house lots, steel and cement subsidies were also handed out.
This is United for Biodiversity, the Alliance podcast, a platform that unites global voices in a call to action to protect or plant planet's rich biodiversity. Join us for critical insights and let's stand united for biodiversity.
Welcome to this week's episode of United for Biodiversity, the Alliance podcast. I am your host, Guyana Wilberg. Today, we place the spotlight on how protecting nature can help build a more stable, sustainable, and democratic world. Joining us for this important discussion today is former U.S. Senator Russ Feingold. Senator Feingold, thank you so much for joining us today.
Guyana, it's a pleasure, and I'm going to be coming down to Guyana for the President Ali's conference in a couple of weeks. I'm extremely excited because I've never been to your country before. I know it's one of the greatest biodiverse places in the world, and I give the President a lot of credit for convening this. So I'm excited to meet you, excited to come to your country.
Thank you so much, sir, and we look forward to the opportunity to welcome you to our country. So, Senator Feingold, I want to jump straight into our discussion because you have a wealth of experience and knowledge, and we're excited to hear your thoughts on a number of issues today. So, starting off, Senator Feingold, your career has taken you from the U.S. Senate to many different parts of the world, and you've had the opportunity to understand deeply the importance of the protection of biodiversity and also seeing countries that are deeply affected by conflict and governance challenges. When you reflect on those experiences, what are your thoughts on how natural assets and specifically biodiversity assets are being protected today?
Well, I'd say that, for so many centuries, maybe thousands of years, this wasn't taken seriously. And for centuries, there was not just neglect, but abuse and exploitation of natural resources and nature, particularly during the colonization of a good part of the world. And as a result, a lot of damage has been done. We've lost an enormous amount of species and natural areas. But the fight back on this has begun. Back in 1992, the Convention on Biodiversity was approved by the United Nations. It's gone into effect. And the group that I work with, that we're coming with a delegation to Guyana, is the Campaign for Nature. We're trying to help the world achieve the goal of protecting 30% of the land and 30% of the water on the planet by 2030. We call it 30 by 30. And we are also realizing that global South countries can't just pay for this stuff as if they have the money to do it, that the global North and financial institutions and philanthropies and others have to raise the money to make sure that we're actually able to pay for preserving areas and maintaining them, as I know you're concerned about in Guyana. So I see progress, but we need to do a lot more.
Now, in many parts of the world, we see when forests or rivers dry up, tensions tend to rise. Why do you think this is so? What is the link between environmental damage and instability or conflict, so to speak?
Happens all over the place. Most of my work in the Senate and under President Obama was in Africa, so I know the most about that. But I'll give you two examples of where what you just described has happened. One is Mali. Mali was one of the first countries that I ever visited in Africa. And it seemed like a very stable, calm, democratic country that was doing very well. But we also on that trip had a chance to fly to most people never get to, a place called Timbuktu. Everybody's heard of it, but no one's ever been there. Well, it turns out it was one of the greatest learning centers in the world, in the Islamic world for thousands of years. But the phenomenon of desertification, the desert swallowing up things as it expands and taking away arable land, led to a real problem. Not only threatening these ancient manuscripts, was what happened years after I was there, is some of these extremist groups from Algeria, from other places in the region, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, they came in and realized these traditional communities could not withstand this kind of loss of resources. And so people were tempted to affiliate with them because they were beginning to feel that they did not have the help from nature that they needed to survive, that they relied on forever. The other example is Nigeria, which relates to the oil issue that your country is having a very interesting future now with regard to that. The exploitation in the oil area by huge international companies on the Niger River led to a scene I couldn't believe, which is that I went down on a Nigerian Navy ship and there were no birds. And all we could see were, flat flares from environmentally unsound flares from the oil production. And as a result, a lot of the native people there who had lived there forever, there was violence. They were angry and they were trying to stop this. So it creates serious violence and tension. And the good news for your country is you can learn from this. Yeah, as you get into the oil era, you can avoid those mistakes and make sure that traditional and indigenous peoples and others are not left by the wayside. So those are two examples of where environmental damage definitely leads to instability or conflict.
Thank you for those examples, Senator. Now, where nature is concerned, some believe that it can actually be a bridge, so to speak, between communities, bringing them closer together. Have you come across any examples where protecting the environment has actually helped to build peace?
I can, and let me first of all say I really think nature does bring people together, almost any person. Whatever tensions we have with the Russians or Chinese or whoever it might be, people tend to love nature in their own country and internationally. And so it is an area of common ground. We saw that the panda bears were, the pandas were the ones that helped make it possible for China and the United States to have a relationship, for example. And so a great example is when I was appointed by President Obama to be the special envoy to the Great Lakes region of Africa, which was basically the terrible violent conflict that's gone on and off for many years on the eastern part of Congo. And it's called the Great Lakes region because there are five or so very historic lakes. And, there was this awful, horrible war going on where 10 or 20 million people were being killed, 50 armed groups. It was miserable. And so what I thought is we did succeed in trying to get a ceasefire. We had peace for about 10 years and it came undone, but for about 10 years. But while I was there, I thought, wait a minute, what brings these people together? What could get them to stop exploiting each other? Well, cooperation about these lakes. And so the United States and Canada, we did something we called the Great Lakes to Great Lakes Gathering on Lake Tanganyika, which is one of the biggest lakes in the world. And so we had the experts from Africa and the United States and Canada, and we all said, this is something we can all agree on. It was a completely peaceful meeting. It was a meeting where we were basically talking about what would be the peace dividend if we stopped the fighting. And so that was where nature definitely was coming into play, as an example.
Thank you so much for that perspective, Senator. Now, where peace building is concerned, I know you've done a lot of this during your career, very distinguished as well. Would you say that enough attention is being paid to environmental issues, or is there still a missing piece?
Yeah, there's two things going on. One is the very unfortunate attack by some, frankly, including the government of the United States, on the climate issue. Almost every country in the world understands that there is a climate crisis and takes it seriously. So that has damaged not only the climate issue, but the nature issue. But a lot of people see the nature issue as separate. It's not entirely separate. But, a lot of people, conservatives, liberals, others, they're very comfortable with the nature issue. And so I would say on that one, the trend is positive. And so my group that I work with, the Campaign for Nature, we are traveling all over the world and finding tremendous interest in this in terms of resolving conflicts. And I've already been this year to the United Arab Emirates, to Korea, to Singapore, to England, and all of these places where they regard creating the mechanisms to protect nature as important for overall stability, including ratifying something called the High Seas Treaty. Right now, there is no treaty that regulates the waters outside of a country's territorial waters. So your country would have certain rights to do things within a number of miles. But outside of that, 75% of the oceans aren't regulated at all. And so we've been working together and making great progress on getting the 60 countries to ratify that would bring that into effect. So there could be some kind of legal regime to protect that. And that's an important stability issue too, because we don't want people having at each other out in the open seas as they try to mine or get valuable resources.
Thank you, Senator Russ. Now, Are there any legal tools or democratic safeguards that you believe every country should have in place if they do want to take the protection of biodiversity seriously?
Definitely. It took the United States about 100 years to get to this, but in the late 19th century, under Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt, we were able to create our national parks system, which is one of the most magnificent things in the world. From the Grand Canyon to Smoky Mountain to in the northern Wisconsin and the Boundary Waters, it's an absolutely magnificent way not only to preserve nature and to make sure that people are safe and the communities can live, but also it's wonderful from a tourism point of view. Now, you have to make sure the legal mechanisms are there to make that happen. And frankly, we're having some problems right now because there's two ways that can happen. One is if Congress approves a national park, so there's a legal mechanism that way. But also the presidents have been able to designate certain places as monuments, and those aren't really buildings always. They are places, natural places. And Presidents Obama, Biden, and others have designated these, but some of that protection has just been recently taken away, and a president can take those away. So I would say that a legal tool that would be important for any country like yours that has enormous biodiversity is making sure there's a strong ability to protect in order to do that. And you have to also have the resources available. You can't just say, okay, we're protecting this place over here. There's got to be some money to pay for it.
Indeed.
I remember I met with the lead forester in Rwanda a few years ago, and he said, well, we're going to designate this area. He said, but Senator, we don't have a forestry school. So we don't have a place where we can train people on how to, maintain a forest. That has to be part of it too. So having a, academic and practical way to train people to do that work is good work. It's important work. It should be well-paying work, and I would recommend it strongly for any country.
Thank you so much, Senator Feingold. To close today's podcast session, Guyana, as you noted in your introduction, is preparing for the next pioneering chapter of its green leadership. And in so doing, it will host from July 23rd to the 25th, the Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit. Senator Feingold, what is your advice to leaders and citizens who will be attending this summit and they are interested in building a future that protects both people and planet?
Well, first of all, let me say, I don't really see myself, Guyana, as the one giving advice. I'm the one that's going to learn. I'm excited to learn about Guyana. I'm excited to learn about what the challenges you're facing and the exciting opportunities you have. So from that point of view, I'm coming there I feel very privileged to learn and see what's going on. But my advice would be that, you have to do whatever you can up front to avoid the mistakes of the past of deforestation and environmental damage to the water and other things can occur as development occurs. You don't want your country to become one of those places that's called a place that has a resource curse. They often talk about Congo that way. It is the most amazing minerals and resources in the world. But because of the lack of concern and pressure to make sure that colonial colonial governments didn't exploit it, as a result, the resource becomes a curse instead of a blessing. And what we wish for Guyana is that the discovery of oil becomes a blessing and not a curse.
Thank you so much, Senator Feingold. This has certainly been an enriching discussion, and your perspectives have truly taken the discussion even further. So thank you once again for participating in today's podcast. To our audience as well, we thank you for your time and for being here with us. Please be sure to join us next week, same time, same place, as we bring you more insights from thought leaders here and around the world regarding the importance of protecting biodiversity. I'm Kiana Wilberg. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to United for Biodiversity, the Alliance podcast. Be sure to follow us for more insightful episodes on our Spotify, LinkedIn, and Facebook accounts.
The government of Guyana has given its commitment to continue to support the country's mining sector. The commitment was given by Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat to members of the Bartica business community at a recent networking activity. He noted that once mining does well, so does Bartica and the entire country.
The mining sector is critical to the development of our country. Today, the Guyana that you see wasn't built on oil and gas. It was built on mining, it was built on logging, on agriculture, and on tourism, and the other traditional sectors.
The minister stated that the government does not intend to make the same mistake as other oil-producing nations and abandon other sectors of the economy.
We said from day one that we are not going to make that mistake. As a matter of fact, we are going to use revenue from the oil and gas sector to incentivize and to expand the traditional productive sectors. And we have done that.
He also noted the benefits of government incentives for the mining, quarrying, and other industries as well.
When we took over government in August of 2020, the annual production of stone aggregates was 600,000 tons. This year, we will produce over 3.6 million tons of aggregates. That is the expansion. And most of that production is coming from right here in Region 7. Right here in Region 7. Gold production has increased. Last year, compared this year with last year, we are over 20,000 ounces ahead of 2024 already. And this is only July 2025.
The Ministry of Labor's Board of Industrial Training, in collaboration with the Art Williams and Harry Wendt Aeronautical Engineering School, recently launched its Aircraft Maintenance Foundation program at the Essequibo Technical Institute on the Regina Essequibo Coast. 20 residents of Region 2, 14 males and 6 females, were the first to benefit from the initiative. Speaking to the Department of Public Information, the beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the program.
When I first saw the program, it was very intriguing because ever since I was small, I was always interested in aviation. I always wanted to pursue my dreams and pursue a career in aviation. I want to become a pilot. So when I saw this, it was like, okay, this is your opportunity.
I've always been fascinated about planes. I wanted to become a pilot, but there's it's expensive. You have to go, out the country. You have to get support, and a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So thanks to the government, I want to thank them for giving me and all the trainees here the opportunity to start this process, this path.
This is truly one of the most amazing things that the government ever did so far, to bring a course like this into Essequibo Coast and bringing it to people like us, because it's very hard for most Essequibians to go into Georgetown and pursue their studies. And a lot of us have dreams to go and get these things done, but financially and then the distance and places to stay is very hard. And now that they've brought it here, and it's cheaper because the courses are very expensive naturally. So bringing it under the government process and just making it better for everybody in Essequibo Coast.
The 9-month program will equip learners with essential skills in aircraft maintenance, ground operations, safety protocols, and technical communication. Critical skills for them to have before taking up careers in Guyana's growing air transport industry.
A brand new community is about to take shape on the Essequibo Coast. 250 families received their house lots in the new Hove Van Arik housing development. This marks a major step towards making their dreams of home ownership a reality.
Our commitment is to ensure that we work continuously so that all of our citizens who are eligible can have access to their own land or home. That's our commitment.
And by delivering on that commitment, the government has put 250 families one step closer to a life of dignity and independence.
My name is Erika Passat. I'm from Riverstone. Since 2023 I applied and I'm excited.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia Henry. I'm from Charity New Housing Scheme. I was waiting a very long time for this opportunity, and I'm so thankful that I can own my own house land. And I must say thanks to the minister and the government for, give me my own house land. I'm so thankful.
My name is Felicia Ferdinand. I'm originally from Georgetown, but I've been residing in Essequibo for the last 13 years. And I applied for land from the government in 2008. I've been running back and forth, but finally, I came in March to update my application, and they told me, next time you hear that they're coming, you must come. And I came today and I got through, and I'm very much ecstatic because I'm a single mother of 6 and I'm paying rent, and it's very hard on me because I got kids to send to school, I got lesson fees and so on to pay. So paying rent and I have bills to pay is very hard. So I'm glad that I got through today because at least, I can't even explain. It's like a burden on my shoulders, I've been praying. I know I want to say thanks to my mom because she always said, she said, "Man, don't give up. God is come through when you least expect it." And he did today, and I want to say thanks to the government and thanks to me for keeping up the faith because sometimes I feel like give up, but thank you very much to the minister and to the government of Guyana. And I'm encouraging young people to, apply. It's a lifelong investment. And, you can leave something for your kids.
Welcome to this week's edition of Weekly Digest, your front row seat to the policies, programs, and people shaping Guyana's development journey. Each week, we go beyond the headlines to follow ministers of government as they implement the administration's agenda, one step, one story, and one community at a time. A new chapter has begun for families in Tushan, East Bank, Essequibo. On Wednesday, Minister of Education Priya Manik Chand officially opened the doors to the Early Learners Nursery, a $51 million investment in the future of Guyana's children. Just months ago in April 2025, this school welcomed 40 little learners. Today, that number has more than doubled with 90 children now enrolled, a powerful sign of the growing confidence parents have in the public education system. The bright classrooms and nurturing environment stand as a testament to the government's promise that every child, no matter where they live, deserves the best possible education. Meanwhile, in Region 1, Ministers Colin Crowell and Vikram Bharat met with residents and miners in Baramita and Matthews Ridge. At Baramita, the team handed over solar lights and engines to support safer and more productive mining operations, bringing meaningful support to hinterland communities. Minister Crowell was also at the Guyana National Stadium in Providence, where preparations are in full swing for the International Building Expo, set for August 14th to 17th. He expressed satisfaction with the setup for what is expected to be a landmark event for Guyana's housing and construction sectors. This year's expo will place special focus on sustainability and biodiversity, building on Guyana's recent role in hosting the Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit. In a major step toward agricultural revitalization, Guyana and the Dominican Republic has signed a historic agreement to begin large-scale coffee and cocoa cultivation in Region 1. The initiative will see 200 acres each of cocoa and coffee developed, creating jobs for nearly 3,000 people and boosting rural livelihoods and regional trade. At full production, cocoa yields are expected to reach up to 8,000 metric tons. This move supports President Irfan Ali's broader vision to restore Region 1 as a leading hub for coffee and cocoa production. Following President Dr. Irfan Ali's community engagement at Coverdon, Minister Deodat Indar led a site visit to the ongoing Good Success to Mary Road project, where several matters were addressed. The minister issued a number of directives to the contractor, supervisory consultant, and engineers attached to the Ministry of Public Works to remedy concerns raised by residents. The Unleash Ability Summit was held on Tuesday at the Pegasus Suites and Corporate Center. It brought together key stakeholders within government agencies, the private sector, and international partners to commit to core principles of engaging people living with disabilities. This was a collaborative effort by the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, Ministry of Health, and UNICEF. Their stakeholders engaged adults and children living with disabilities.
When we meet again, we should be able to come here with figures and facts to show how this has been achieved. Through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, we have done many transformational initiatives to improve the lives of persons living with disabilities.
This summit brings to the forefront the importance of acknowledging persons living with disabilities, celebrating their strengths and accomplishments while listening to their challenges, so that policies can be crafted to build a more inclusive society for all. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Oni Juwalran delivered remarks at Monday's award ceremony for the 59th Snap and Cheer competition. She praised participants for helping to spotlight Destination Guyana, noting that this year's competition saw over 1,600 entries, racking up more than 16.8 million views and nearly 400,000 engagements online. Now in its fifth year, Snap and Cheer continues to grow in reach and impact, bringing together both amateur and professional photographers to celebrate Guyana's natural beauty and cultural heritage. And that's just a snapshot of how the week unfolded, one step at a time, one community at a time, but many stories continue to be written. That's it for this edition. We'll see you next week with more stories from the heart of government. Welcome to the President's Diary, your weekly look at bold, hands-on leadership. This week, President Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali led major developments in healthcare, security, and diplomacy, all part of his plan to improve lives and transform communities. On Sunday, during a live social media broadcast, President Ali reminded citizens that more than 200 taxes have been rolled back, with no new taxes added in the past 5 years. He said this forms part of a broader strategy to reduce poverty, support working families, and drive national development through social programs, tax incentives, and major infrastructure investments.
How do we intend to take this forward? And not only take it forward, but to ensure we build in a systemic way. Because to address these issues comprehensively, we have to do it in a systemic way. We have to do it in a way in which the policies and programs do not only address the short-term challenges, but the policies and systems that we build would address holistically the long-term challenges and create economic growth, expansion, and allow a social safety net to be built around opportunities for the poor.
On Monday, the president met with dialysis patients and their families at State House. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting those in need, including an annual $600,000 grant per person for hemodialysis treatment, easing the financial burden on vulnerable citizens. The head of state also welcomed the non-resident ambassador of the Republic of Korea, His Excellency Sejong Kwon. They discussed expanding cooperation in key areas, with President Ali noting that Guyana and Korea are now well positioned to turn shared potential into real progress. Later in the week, President Ali hosted a major trade delegation from the Dominican Republic at State House. The talks followed recent engagements with President Luis Abinader and focused on collaboration in agriculture, tourism, cybersecurity, and healthcare, advancing Guyana's position as a regional leader in services and investment. Healthcare also saw a landmark moment in Region 5 with the commissioning of the state-of-the-art Bath Regional Hospital, valued at $6 billion. President Ali said the facility will revolutionize healthcare in the region, reducing the stress of transportation.
This facility by itself is testament to a government that is developing our country to remove inequality, to improve services across the board, and to bring parity with those who can afford it from the private hospital and those who will also get the same level of service from a public hospital.
In a historic move, more than 2,000 officers of the Guyana Police Force will receive promotions starting August 1st, 2025. During his address at Eve Leary, President Ali commended the ranks for their dedication, highlighting that the promotion process will recognize clean service records and years of contribution.
All those, 5 to 7 years of service. All those persons who are constable between 5 to 7 years of service have not been promoted. You are going to go to Lance Corporal at the highest level of it.
The elevation will span across several ranks, including promotions from constable to lance corporal to corporal, corporal to sergeant, and sergeant to inspector.
With greater rewards, a greater responsibility. I want you to honor what you do, honor your job.
On Thursday, President Ali met with international reggae star Maxi Priest at State House. The two explored opportunities to position Guyana as a hub for music festivals and production, while discussing the sustainability of the Caribbean music industry. In celebration of emancipation, President Ali also hosted several African heritage groups on Friday, reaffirming the government's support for cultural preservation through music, traditional clothing, and the arts. The president later joined thousands at the 187th Emancipation Anniversary in New Amsterdam, Berbice, where he paid tribute to the resilience of African ancestors.
We honor the indomitable spirit of our African forebears, who in the crucible of bondage kindled the flame of dignity that still guides our nation.
To support African Guyanese culture, the president announced a $1 million contribution to support the drumming group's development programs, along with an additional $1.5 million to boost the Organization for Social and Health Advancement in Guyana, OSHAG, ambassadorial program.
The Conganaya Group, your work among young people is enormous, and I'm committing $1 million, 1 million Guyana dollars for the further development of your group. And OSHAG, this important organization, has embraced young people. Your ambassadorial program is second to none.
And wrapping up the week, the president visited Port Kaituma in Region 1, where he met with residents during a public meeting. There he announced a reduction in electricity costs, jump-starting the cocoa and coffee industry, and a suite of initiatives aimed at further improving the lives of residents in remote communities.
From expanding healthcare and building regional ties to investing in culture and community well-being, this week once again reflected a president deeply committed to building a stronger, more resilient Guyana. Join us next time on the President's Diary as we continue to follow the footsteps of leadership.